this area of time gets it this year, this area of time gets it, and just go back and then we're compliant. And I said, yeah, well, let's talk about that. I don't know a ton about it, but
Super up on the spirit back on rotation. Carolyn, wait, if you could, here, coming into the mining was, I think, Visu, Missouri.
yeah.
I don't know who's doing the inspections.
But I enjoyed the campus, I heard people. That's good, well, I'm glad it's good. We miss you. Well, can we talk about the area? Gotcha.
Bill.
Very good.
Everything may work.
So it's just like.
I should have listened for that Saturday night. I got the check.
We needed it.
My mom and dad live in Kansas City and they got tents.
Well, we're supposed to get some starting Wednesday, I think. Wednesday up through the weekend. So I might go out there tomorrow.
We do need it.
So we can just shut it.
Let me get you a jacket.
Everyone I say that.
Airplane,
Yeah.
blankets.
I like this. I like no block. To the back of my truck, there's a coat. After all that other stuff was good.
Looks like I'm the only one on this side of the table.
Yeah.
Joey will roll in 5:59:30.
Yep.
Sure, that is still early.
She might be on vacation or something too, you know.
Wouldn't know what that's.
That's out this morning.
I wouldn't know.
Climb down inside of the tank there.
Me either.
Last week, we were running Friday, Alexis. Spiders, I was down in there with a lot of his warrants. Traveling out to
Lucky.
Paris and that.
Job.
Oh, she's doing that. Where's she working?
Some such.
Last one, they did put us in.
This is the combination. It's like a 5 water.
Yeah, trailers. So it smelled.
See, it's not even 5:59.
He's retired. He's retired. He has more time.
Right.
And it's not yours.
Exactly.
Or is this Leslie?
That's me.
I was gonna say it's
They were chasing things around.
Put that great mortar stuff, guy in the corner, so then the spider didn't get out. Should be good to hold water.
That's the reverse. So don't do that. It's early.
I didn't want to kill that many trees. No, you're fine.
There's a lot in there. Other than that, I wanted to give Leslie a call about doing something for the scoreboards at Jacobs Park. It's been on something that we talked about.
Never got to it. I need to check.
I made this
Plug it in
suggestion.
right at the actual scoreboard to verify the wiring going there, and I just never had time to do it.
Well, I talked to Shiloh, why don't we look at getting like one of the wireless controllers and seeing if we can retrofit it?
Why don't we I just want to plug it in there and see if that's the wiring going there, and then we'll make it. I just didn't have time. For next year,
Yeah.
I can promise you that we'll have those decisions way early.
Okay. So that was the only other thing that I like.
No, they also talked about wanting new ones, and I said, okay, let's have a season-long 50/50.
Well, right.
They're actually functional. The softball one's fine. The other one I just need to, I was gonna literally cut the wires, put a plug on it, and put it to a generator.
Yeah.
I just never had time to do it.
No, it
But I
works,
will do
it
that.
works part of the time. They were able to get it working, but when it rains, so there's a short.
We believe it's the wiring. That being the case, that'll let me know, and I can get the wiring pretty cheap.
Well, yeah, either that or, I mean, even just having someone like RK come out and run it. I mean, it's not gonna be that crazy expensive. It's gonna be it's gonna be a lot cheaper.
Are you responsible? Good, sir.
But I can also put a generator out there.
I'm sorry.
Anytime.
Yes.
No.
Well, that they were saying that the light up, but the buttons won't work, like change and all that stuff. So that's what they were.
It's on my list. I've got a lot
Yeah.
of things on.
I know, and that's
I mean,
what
out there, I got a lot of things to do in the fall up there to make fall.
oh, yeah, no, and that's why I talked to Shiloh and I was like, well, what about just, if that's the only thing that the messenger wire is broken, why don't retrofit it into like the wireless scoreboard or something like that, so. You know,
We have a scoreboard company that we can be in contact with. I'll get that all fixed before next year.
No, that says 6. Why don't we call this meeting in order, please? Start with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello, welcome. I think the owl's working. So, can we have a roll call, please?
Gillis,
here,
Smith, here, Boggs,
Here.
Fleming,
Here.
Rose,
Here.
Cruzen, here.
Full house tonight. Thank you. Everybody's had a chance to look at minutes. At this time, I'll take any questions, comments, concerns, or will consider a motion.
motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Thank you. It's a motion by Alex, a second by Dave Rose. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I have no correspondence tonight, but I'd like to take a moment for everybody to remember former Mayor Kent Kowal passed this past week. He brought a lot to the city. He's the reason we have some of the funding that we have to work with and the things that we're doing. He was a mentor to me. He was a friend. May not have ever remembered not knowing him. So I hope everybody remembers his family fondly. We have a lot of things to be thankful for in our town for him, and just a remembrance to hug the ones you love a little closer. Thank you. Next item I have on the agenda is bills to pay. And I will take any questions, comments, concerns, or a motion.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Thank you, Alex. Second by Dave Rose. That is a roll call, please, Christie.
Gillis,
Yes.
Smith. Yes. Boggs,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Cruzen, yes.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is a balance of accounts. If anybody has any questions, and Christie is the cause.
There will be more phone calls coming up. Sorry. From the school.
If anybody has any questions on a balance accounts, if not, I'm going to move on. Leads to the police department report. Chief's on vacation, so we have the pleasure of Sergeant Steck this evening.
Ordnance work is continuing. The new police truck has been picked up and striped. Just waiting on the equipment to arrive and to be installed. Myself and Chief Sargent, we put on a high-risk traffic stop training at the PD for our officers, and then 2 other small departments. Fairview Police Department, Avon Police Department joined in. And this was just to get all of our yearly state requirements in for the high-risk traffic stops. Officer Green and Officer Decker, they're over halfway through the police academy, and they're both doing great and ready to graduate soon.
Motion. Thank you, Andy.
Motion to approve the police department report. Second.
I have a motion from Joey, a second from Alex to approve the Farmington Police Department monthly report for June of 2025. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That will carry. Leads us to old business. Lo and behold, we have old business. We have this ordinance number 2025-22, that is vacant and neglected buildings. There are two sections that we have to decide what we want to do. First being 4-17-14, and this is the failure to comply section about what kind of fines we want to levy on this. We have a fee schedule built into our code, correct? Could we just say,
Could this be different than that though?
does it need to be different than that, or could we say by code?
Tell him he's muted.
I think you're muted, Bill.
Can't hear you. Hang on.
Maybe it's me.
You're muted.
Try it now, Bill.
How about this?
Yeah, that's a lot better. I think it was me.
Oh, wonderful. It was you. All right, good. Started developing in very early times. But I think we need to look at the city code's dedicated fine section and just specifically call out this, this ordinance in that. And I think it'd be good. It's got an escalating feature to it and things of that nature. So, you know, rather than reinvent the wheel, I think that's a really good suggestion.
All right. Council good with that?
Yes, sir. I think so.
All right, the next section we need to talk about is 4-7-17. About an additional registration fee, and an annual, the renewal of an empty building. I don't know what kind of money we want to see about. It needs to be enough that it warrants our time to do it and make sure people do it, but not so much that maybe they won't do it because it costs so much money, if that makes sense. So I don't know what we want to do about the fees, but the purpose of doing this is that so that we know where our empty buildings are, who to contact if there's a problem, and where do we go looking for somebody when there is a problem. And I think Andy can attest that is the biggest hurdle that we.
Can the police department come back, or whoever, next meeting, and tell us exactly how many vacant buildings we have in the city?
Probably, they have no idea.
I guess.
It would take us driving around and counting, and some of them we think are vacant, but maybe they aren't.
And you're including residential and residential, yes.
I suppose if there's delinquent water bills, maybe.
I mean, we even sent water bills to residences that nobody's there.
What about-
There's just not a good, we're trying to figure out a good way to know where we've got problems. It also gives our PD, Andy, you and Joey can attest to this better, if you know that, these people have come and filed that this is a vacant building and you see somebody there, they're like, well, that's not right. I'm not trying to overburden our citizens, it's just that we've got a lot of empty buildings, and we don't even know where to begin to get these people to mow, or where to send invoices to mow.
Should we make an exemption if it's for sale or anything like that? If they actually have like a realtor
Well,
sign?
but though, like there was a house across the street that sat empty probably for 6 weeks, but it was in the process of being sold.
Right.
So, yeah.
We have, I think.
You may have a building that sits for sale for.
I understand that, but I guess I'm trying to, not, I guess, maybe penalize isn't the right word, somebody for selling their house, right? Because if you sell your house, yeah, you you want to sell it, but it could sit for a while. And as long as they're maintaining it, you have a realtor that you can contact and say, hey, there's a problem with this house. Like, there is a point of contact.
So
I guess, I get it, it's the derelict stuff that has gone from into foreclosure and it's bank owned and this bank sold it to this bank. I get that. That's kind of what we're after, but I think we probably need something in there for people that are trying to sell.
this is a, it says within 30 days of becoming vacant.
I mean,
We can change that to 45 real easy.
vacant and delinquent is two different things.
And neglect.
In neglect.
It could be,
It can be vacant and the windows are washed and the yard's mowed and the bushes are trimmed. Hey, I don't have a problem with that. It can sit there for 5 years. It doesn't matter to me as long as all that stuff's done
Well,
on the
except
outside.
that if our officers see somebody and they patrol day and night, if they see somebody and they know that someone's not supposed to be at that.
Oh, yeah, if you got squatters or something, sure, I understand that. But with the fees too, I think if we can organize our paperwork and, if fees are adding up at 260, Court Street or whatever, then at the end, if it all gets settled, then you tack on all those fines or fees to them. Oh,
I don't
Paper
really
trail.
understand the purpose of it, only because if we can't say how many buildings are vacant, we have no way to know that. Well, how could we enforce this? And who's to say people are gonna do it? And I think the most important part is the people who would have things that need taken care of, really that we need to contact them about mowing, they're most likely not going to do this. I just feel like it's paperwork that's not really enforceable to an extent.
Bill?
These do work. What I think works best is start with little or no registration fee, just a requirement of registering. And then maybe in your ordinance, you put that, for each year or each 6-month period that it remains vacant, the fee goes up. That way, your repeat long-term offenders are going to be paying more and more and more, as they require more potential police or fire attention to that area or code enforcement. I think we got to get them to register initially, so I wouldn't. You either have no fee or a really low one for the initial registration.
That makes
But really, Jenny, I think the whole thing that we're trying to design this out is so that we know who to contact when there's a problem. And right now, like I had no idea who to contact on some of these. I've since the chief did some legwork, and we ended up with the ability of where a bunch of this is being held. But some days we don't know at all.
I do understand that from the city's point, that I guess the general public probably doesn't realize what a hassle that is to figure out when someone needs contacted, but just from a homeowner standpoint, it might just feel like it's something else that I have to register and pay for that I already own, and that feels kind of intrusive.
I guess my other question would be, like, if you have a house with multiple lots, each lot, are we doing it by 10? We have to really kind of consider that too. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to throw.
Why? Because you have 3 pens
I
next to
do
your house?
have 3 kids, so I didn't worry about it.
well, a vacant lot isn't what we're looking for, vacant.
No, so there's a house at the corner that sits down the street from me, and it's a pretty decent house. It has sat empty for 15 years, and now it's got broken windows. And, some of our officers,
We have avenues to check them out through the police department. If you don't have that avenue, I will provide it for you.
GIS.
You do it on the
GIS.
Fulton County plat map.
Right.
but what happens then is, if those taxes have been sold, or it's in foreclosure,
Right.
which is where we're really needing the help with.
Right.
Could we I would say instead of that, do something along the lines of, you know, and their windows like that. Well, we give them a notice, we need to fix it. If they don't fix it, then we send someone out there, put it up there, and then we build. I guess to Jenny's point, how do we get, we can put stuff in here to say people need to register, but what's going to actually make them register if they're not even taking care of the house here? I mean, you know what I mean?
So I agree. There's people that purchase land from
Yeah.
Chicago. All they do is see a picture online, they buy it, they never come.
Sure.
And when they do, after the city gets a hold of them, because this building has been dilapidated for many years, and then they're like, I had no clue that's what I purchased. And we're never gonna find that.
They don't, they sell them off. It's like a
Yeah,
house
so
on the corner.
it just becomes a big show game.
Right.
And that's,
So in a sense, I understand.
And I don't want this to be a revenue stream. It'd be nice to have a revenue stream like this, but the more is, who do we call? You know, and maybe this person owns it, but they've got a management company taking care of it for them. And all this does is this gives us an attitude of who do we contact and where do we send the invoices? So,
yeah. I mean, I
It's
think,
gonna work for the people that live here. If they don't live here, we're still gonna be beating our
We're
head
still gonna
against
be-
the wall.
Well, what concerns me too is the, you know, the unpaid water bills. You know, with these houses that are vacant or whatever, that all adds up. Unless you can get them to register, if they come in and say, hey, I'm leaving town and, you know, I want to pay my last water bill, then get their forwarding address if they'll let it.
we could always put a lien on their house, and then when it's property sold, and then that's what we can collect. That's the other avenue.
We'll take one over West Pearl, for instance. There's 10+ trailers out there that nobody's living in, that just won't walk in, they ain't getting time. This would allow us, where our attorney could take them and say, hey, now they have to be demolished or removed within 30 days, or you're gonna be fined such. Is that correct, Bill?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you can do that with a house though.
Yes, you can.
Can?
Yes, you can.
Takes longer.
It can be done, and it will cost us money up front to try to get the money on the back end. But, you know, this is giving us an avenue of at least somebody to talk to, or where to send the bills
At the end of the day, it's only gonna affect the people that are gonna abide by it. Because if you're telling me that you don't know who lives in this house or who owns this house, we're still not gonna know.
We still don't. Well, it took Chris 4 hours on the phone to figure out who really owned that house on Wall Street. You know, from one place to the next, he just kept getting passed along. Until we finally found the people who were holding the paper.
Right, and that's what it's gonna take. We have,
So,
and Kent, we have an ordinance guy that takes care of all that. That's his job. If you have an abandoned building, you know, he is the building inspector as well. I mean, I know that we need something like this in place, but it's not gonna solve our problem.
this isn't, we're not gonna sit back and say, okay, we've passed this ordinance and now we're just gonna sit back and read
Right.
it.
Right.
We
Well,
also know it's probably gonna take years to get everything registered.
This will give us a foot in the door as to why we.
Yes. This gives us, do you guys want to table this and read it some more?
Yeah, I mean, I think
We can,
yes, sir. Like,
Right. Let's table it. I will have Bill make the changes that we talked about. All right, that is the end of old business. Leads us to new business. First order of new business I possible action for ordinance 2025-23. This is an ordinance amending fiscal year 26 commercial TIF. And what this does is it opens up the commercial TIF to all of Farmington, not just limited to downtown. And also states that all bills must be paid to the city in order to receive TIF grants. And I would like nothing more than to read this by title.
Make a motion to read ordinance number 2025-23 by title.
Second.
Thank you, Alex. Second by Dave Rose. That is a roll call, please.
Gillis,
Yes.
Smith. Yes. Boggs.
Yes.
Fleming.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Cruiser.
Yes.
This is ordinance number 2025-23, City of Farmington, Illinois, approving and adopting an amendment to the fiscal year 2026 commercial facade renovation program for Farmington Tax Increment Financing District. That is your first reading of 2025-23.
I'm gonna make a motion to waive the second reading of 2025-23.
Second.
Thank you, Alex. Second by Dave. That is a roll call.
Gillis,
Yes.
Smith. Yes. Boggs.
Yes.
Fleming.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Cruiser.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2025-23.
Thank you, Alex. Second from Nate. That is a roll call, please.
I think that was, so you? Or was
Nate.
Okay.
Oh, no, that's right. I had to look.
Okay. Gillis,
Yes.
Smith. Yes. Boggs.
Yes.
Fleming.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Cruiser.
Yes.
Thank you. Next item I have on the agenda is a discussion possible action for replacement of the HVAC system for the Farmington Community Center. And I'm going to turn this over to Alderman Rose for the highlights.
We got 3 different bids on a 5-ton, 14-SEER AC unit. The bids came in at $65.50, $74.48, and $79.28. I did actually personally talk to one of them and had to make an assessment of the actual furnace because I have quotes here for both replacement of furnace and AC or just AC. And it was confirmed that, in his opinion, that we had 5 good years left on the furnace. So this is just, once again, my opinion based on talking to them. There wasn't a need or an immediate need to do a furnace / air conditioner at the same time. Having said that, the 3 different quotes that we have, they are all apples to apples comparison, 14 SEER, 5-ton, single stage, all the above. The most affordable quote is what I suggest that we go with, which is the Spoon River. Any questions? I have all the other information in front of me if you have any other questions about that.
So it's about $3,000 if we want to add a new furnace at the same time as the.
And it's gonna cost more up front, but if we wait, they're gonna charge you more.
And I did actually do the quote scenario. The actual AC sits up above, furnace is down below. So it's not like, because I asked that question specifically, is it gonna cost us $2,000 more? It's not.
It's
Because the furnace is at the ground level,
Right.
AC up above.
got the platinum in the middle, so
Right.
I've done it, and so it doesn't cost a lot if you do them.
Because I wanted to verify that too. We get it,
Because if it's
2 for 1.
reversed, they charge you more.
So in my opinion, I think we're better off to run this thing till it then stops, and then we'll replace it for that. The furnace was, like you said, $3,000 to $4,000 replacement, but it would be that cost regardless, AC and furnace or just AC.
Okay.
So I just want to let you know. So,
And this is what we looked at. We were told this needed to be done like 2 years ago, and we opted to not do it at that time. We do have dance classes starting August 9th. And they are expecting AC. It is warm over there.
this might depend. I haven't checked. The only thing I didn't do is I didn't see it on availability on the schedule. We have 1 month, assuming that any or all these can get that done in that time frame. I don't have that answer for you.
So I know one said that that's not a problem.
Okay,
You talked to Brett.
yes.
I didn't get to talk to anybody from Spoon River, but they've been pretty Johnny on the spot for us. They've done a lot of work on these mini splits.
So I guess my recommendation would be to go with the Swing River at the most affordable cost, as long as they have it within their scheduling to be able to get that done in the time frame that we're asking. I think so too.
I would second that motion.
I think Rod's taking a good.
Yeah, I called him, my hot water heater went out Thursday night, I called him Friday morning, figured out gonna go all weekend, and guys up there at 2:00 replacing.
All right, so I have a motion and a second to accept the $6,550 bid from Spoon River Mechanical to replace the condensing unit. That's a roll call, please.
Gillis,
Yes.
Smith, yes, Boggs,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Cruzen.
Yes.
All right, I will let Rod know. Get that one. Thank you. The little girls dance class, thank you. Next item I have, discussion possible action, a donation to the Back to School Bash. M&K Parties, Mike Lauer is bringing back the Back to School Bash in the park. He's got, the bounce houses, he's inviting vendors, and it sounds like he's trying to get as many food trucks as he possibly can get, so he's creating like a little mini festival for that day. Last year, or the last time they did this, we were a $250 donation. Plus, I told him he could use the park and our electricity.
And move, we donate $250.
Thank you, Dave. A second by Nate. Let's roll call that.
Gillis,
Yes.
Smith, yes, Boggs,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Cruzen.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Next item I have on the agenda is discussion of possible action, CEDC recommendations. The CEDC met June 26th. We had a lively meeting. I have the following recommendations to make. In TIF residential grant for Jane Rutledge, new windows. It is her first grant for $2,500. Out of TIF residential is Jim Nader put on a roof. It is his first grant for $2,500. Greg Holloway has tree removal for a first grant at $2,500. And Verda Roberts doing gutter replacement. This is a repeat grant for her at $1,000. Commercial grants, we have Lefty's Parlor. They would like some assistance with acquisition and financing. We came up with a $20,000 forgivable loan over 4 years. Jonetta Skapecki in the lane transfer buildings for overhead door replacement. It's a $16,000 program. We agreed to a $12,735 grant. Rob Batterton at Spin City seal coating the parking lot for a $2,100 grant. And Scott Anderson is the owner of the Subway building that is needing a roof. We would like to recommend a $4,092.84 upfront payments, and then 50% of the monthly payments that he is paying annually over 30 years. So it's a total of about an $8,000 grant. Also have grants that are carryovers from last year that we need to approve again. Lavonna Kenny's getting concrete replacement. These are people that the contractors were finally able to get to them. Lavonna Kenny, concrete replacement for $2,500. Brad and Dawn Ward for awning work at $1,000. Vern Ofield for tree removal, $2,400. Stan Hansard with tree removal for $1,125. And the Moose Lodge as for assistance on door and window replacements for $5,317.50.
I just have a question. The overhead door replacement, that's for lane transfer, correct, even though the building is for sale?
Yes.
We're gonna give them money to replace things even though the building's for sale.
There's maybe some good things happening that we can't talk about.
All right.
If everybody's good with those, I would accept the motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the CEDC recommendations for June of 2025.
Thank you, Leslie. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second from Alex. That is a roll call, please.
Gillis,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Boggs,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Cruzen.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Next item I have is a discussion possible action of ordinance 2025-24. This is for Lefty's Parlor. And I would like to read this by title only, please.
So moved.
Thank you. Second, is that you, Dave? Yes. Second by Dave Rose. That's a roll call, please, Christie.
Gillis,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Boggs,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Cruzen. Yes.
All right, this is City of Farmington, Illinois, ordinance number 2025-24. An ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a TIF redevelopment agreement by and between the City of Farmington, Fulton County, Illinois, and Lefty's Parlor LLC and Bobby Olm. That is your first reading of 2025-24.
Make a motion to waive the second reading of 2025-24.
Thank you, Alex. Second, please.
Second.
Second by Leslie. That is a roll call, please.
Gillis,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Boggs,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Cruzen.
Yes.
Read your thing, Alex.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-24.
Second.
Thank you. There's a motion by Alex, a second by Jenny. That is a roll call.
Gillis,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Boggs,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Cruzen.
Yes.
And the final new business I have this evening, discussion possible action. It's approached by a group of gentlemen about amending ordinance 2025-25. This is to amend our UTV and golf cart ordinance. They spoke with the chief. Did they talk to you as well, Andy?
Yeah.
About the time constraints that we have this ordinance in. And according to them, I didn't get to talk to the chief, but there have been no issues with after hours. We're requiring these to have the same lights that a car has. Some of them are better than some of the cars we have driving our streets. So they would like, I agree, they would like to see us strike the time frame of this.
I make a
It's,
motion that we amend ordinance number 2025-25.
thank you, Joey. Second, please. Second by Dave Rose. Well, all right, so we gotta have this. Joey's have to read by title only.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna read 2025-25 by title only, and that's a roll call.
Gillis,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Boggs,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Cruzen.
Yes.
All right, so this is City of Farmington, ordinance number 2025-25, and an ordinance amending, authorizing the operation of golf carts and utility terrain vehicles, UTV, on city streets within the City of Farmington, and amending the city code Title 9 Traffic, Chapter 9, Condition Equipment of Vehicles, and adding Section 9-9-10 golf cart and utility train vehicles street requirements. That is your first reading of 2025-25.
I'd like to make a motion that we waive the second reading of ordinance number 2025-25.
Second.
Thank you, Joey. That's a second by Jenny. That is a roll call.
Gillis,
Yes.
Smith, yes, Boggs,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Cruzen.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt ordinance number 2025-25.
Second.
I have a motion by Joey and a second by Alex to adopt ordinance 2025-25. And I'm glad we're gonna be out of the 25s. That's roll call, please. I'm sorry.
Gillis,
Yes.
Smith, yes, Boggs,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Cruzen.
Yes.
Thank you. That is all of new business. Please, the committee reports. Jenny, do you have anything this evening, finance and ordinance?
I do not.
Thank you. Nate, on public sewer.
That's tonight, sir.
Thank you. Joey, anything further on public safety?
No, sir.
Thank you. Alex, street sidewalks and garbage.
City workers did a great job with the barricades for the parade. Let me go and recognize them. They really did a nice job with that. Other than that, nothing else, sir.
Thank you. Leslie, anything parks and recreation wise?
We got
Thank you. Dave Rose, public grounds and buildings.
That's the report, sir.
Thanks. From the gallery. Once, twice.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion from Joey, a second from Dave Rose to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thanks, Bill.
If you find anything wrong, let me know.